So I'm currently in New York City for a wedding I have tomorrow in Brooklyn, and it made me realize that I actually travel a whole bunch for my weddings. I've been all up and down the East Coast, from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Washington, D.C., Rhode Island, Philly, New York City, and so much more. So I've pretty much done most of the East Coast. And I wanted to share with you all what I do while I travel to help you out when it comes to traveling for weddings, especially the one thing that I do at every single wedding that I travel to. What's up? This is John from John Bets for Photography, and if you're new to the channel, I'm a wedding photographer and Fujifilm X photographer. Traveling for weddings is a whole different game than driving for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to a wedding. So I wanted to share with you all some tips on how to travel for weddings. Also, shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. We'll talk about that later in the video. So let's start out with some flight tips. Generally, I always travel as light as possible on a flight. While it's easy to get caught up in gear and having so much gear for every single situation, really when you're flying, you want to keep it as low as possible and just bring the gear that you absolutely need. Keep it light. I'm personally not a big fan of the whole bring a Pelican case and put all your gear in it. I only think you should do that if you're like bringing a whole bunch of gear and you can't keep it on you. But for wedding photography, you really don't need that much. And generally, I'm traveling with 2 cameras and 4 lenses, and I'm just fine to keep it all in one bag. So really, keep it light and keep it on you. If you're curious about all the things that I bring with me to wedding days, definitely make sure to check out my What's in My Bag video right up above. Now, when it comes to traveling light, again, bring everything that you need, and that's it. Don't bring a whole bunch of super extra, just bring what you need. Again, for me, that's 2 cameras, 4 lenses, extra batteries, 2 flashes, maybe 4 if I'm gonna do off-camera flash, and chargers, and that's pretty much it. For my bag of choice, I'm using the Holdfast Gear Romographer, and this is where the majority of all of my gear goes. And with this bag, not only is it stylish, but it's small enough that I can take it with me and bring it as a carry-on on the plane. And for me, that is hugely important because this stuff costs too much for me to be checking it in and then maybe having them lose it. I'm keeping this thing on me. So this bag is always with me and it always goes above in the overhead compartment. Now for anything else I need to bring, I do usually check a bag, and in that bag I'll put any extras like the little bag that I carry on my back, the sightseer. That I usually always bring with me as well, but it's too big to just put it inside of another bag. So that goes on my carry-on. Also additional flashes and then my clothes. And for light stands, I use the super light Manfrotto light stands. So because of this, I can throw them in a book bag. So I bring those with me on the flight as well in a book bag, and it's usually fine. So generally that's 3 bags. 1 checked bag, which has my clothes, so the stuff that's not important. If I lost it, it would be okay. My Romographer, which has the majority of my gear, that's super important, so that stays on me. And then a book bag that mainly holds my tech and also any light stands I might have. Let me know if you have a different way that you travel for your flights down in the comments below. Again, I'm very serious about keeping my gear on me because if something happens to my gear, I want it to be like me. I want someone to like take it from me in my hands. You know what I mean? I want to see it, not just show up and be like, oh, sorry, we lost your cameras. I cannot deal with that. Next up are going to be our travel tips. These are the things you want to do while you're getting to your wedding or you're getting in the area of your wedding. A huge one for me is make sure you're booking your hotel close to the venue. Now, I know hotels can be expensive, and honestly, your couple should be paying for you, but always make sure that you're close to the venue. And there's a couple of reasons why. Obviously, getting to the wedding is going to be a lot easier. It's much nicer to only have to drive for like 15, 20, 30 minutes to get to the wedding versus being like an hour away. If your hotel is close to the venue, you also don't have to wake up as early to get ready to get to the wedding. You have way more time on your hands to either sleep in or prepare for the wedding rather than sitting around and being like, well, now I gotta drive for a whole hour, so let me go ahead and go. Also, when you're done with the wedding at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, now when it's pitch black in an area that you're not familiar with, and I hate driving at night. I absolutely hate it. But when you're in the area that you don't know, now you only have another 30-minute drive to get back home, which is much nicer than some of these weddings like out in the mountains in the middle of nowhere and being like, well, let me drive home in the night at like 2 in the morning in the middle of nowhere. It's just, it's not fun. So really, if it costs a little bit extra to be close to the venue, just go ahead and do it. Trust me, it's always, always the best choice rather than being concerned about how much it costs. Also, when you're getting into the area of your wedding and you're going to your hotel, make sure to hit like a grocery store or a Target or something on your way to your hotel. This has been a huge thing for me on every single wedding, is that the moment I get into the area of my wedding, I find the nearest Target and I go ahead and get myself a microwave dinner or some snacks or something of that sort, especially water. Water's the big one. When you're in a hotel most of the time, you're not gonna have the amenities you need. And especially nowadays in our current climate, you're not really seeing a lot of stuff inside the hotel. Most of the in-house restaurants and stuff are closed, and there's just not much going on in the hotel. So being able to go get some water that they're not gonna overcharge you for at the hotel, maybe get some snacks and a microwave dinner for yourself, is a huge help. And the place where this really comes in handy for me personally is after the wedding. So yes, generally vendors get meals and we eat that, but on a wedding day, because we haven't eaten all day, the vendor meal is enough to make you not hungry anymore, but I feel like I always leave the wedding still hungry, even though I just ate the vendor meal maybe like 2 hours ago before I left the wedding. So generally, since I'm traveling and I'm at a hotel, depending on the area I'm in, everything's closed by the time I'm done with the wedding. So since I went to Target beforehand, now I can come back and have like a snack or something so I can eat and feel full and then go to sleep. And again, like I said, water is hands down the most important. Like being able to come back to your hotel room to some nice big cold bottles of waters, after going all day of like barely drinking it all, hands down the best. So always hit a grocery store or a Target or something before you get to your hotel room. Now, while you're in your hotel room, make sure you bring a backup system with you. Now, most of y'all are probably thinking, well, yeah, John, I bring my laptop and I back it up there. That's not enough. You need more than that. We're shooting people's weddings. These are important days and we need multiple backups while we travel. For that, you already know that I love to use the NAR box and I bring it with me to every wedding. But the huge advantages to it are I can back up my second photographer's photos on site so I don't have to keep their SD card. And when I get back to my hotel, I can back up to my iPad or my laptop and also the NAR box, so I have double copies there, so I know that I'm not gonna lose the photos. And that's huge. Don't walk around with just one copy of the photos or just like one thing that has the photos on it and that's it. You need at least a copy of the photos so that if something happens, you still have the photos accessible. The NAR box is a bit pricey, but honestly, y'all, it is worth every penny. I use it at every single wedding and I absolutely love it. I have a review of it. Make sure to check it out right up above. And speaking of backing up, also when you're traveling back home, make sure you separate your backups. So backing up to multiple places like a hard drive and also your laptop is null and void if you keep your laptop and your hard drive in the same bag. Because if someone steals your bag or you lose your bag, all your photos are gone. So like, what's the point of a backup? So generally what I do for that is that after the wedding, I come back to the hotel room, I back up both my SD cards, and since my cameras shoot dual cards, I have 2 cards in each camera, so 4 cards. I take 1 card from each camera and I put them in my pocket. That way that literally like something has to happen to me for my backup to be gone. So 2 cards in my pocket, that's 1 backup. The other SD cards stay in the cameras, so that's another backup. Then you have a backup on the NAR box, which is in my carry-on, and then you have the other in my laptop, which is on my bag. So all of the backups are separated. They're not in the same space. So I can lose my bag and be like, well, I lost all my camera gear, but at least I have the wedding photos in my pocket. Or I can lose all my bags, literally all of them, and be like, well, at least I have the wedding photos in my pocket. So literally something has to happen to me for me to lose the photos. And then once I get home, I make even more backups. So seriously, it's extremely important to make sure you're always backing up your photos. And I made a video about that a while ago that you should definitely check out right up above. And then last but not least, let's talk about the one thing that I do at absolutely every wedding, the most important part, more important than all the other stuff that I've talked about, which is getting to the wedding area a day early. Y'all, I cannot tell you how important this is. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna give me flack in the comments below and be like, John, you're wasting a whole day that you can be doing whatever. But when I travel for a wedding, being at the wedding is hands down the most important thing. And I've learned the hard way that you need to go ahead and get in the area early because you don't know what could happen. So speaking of that, let's talk about what happened to me, which made me learn that the hard way. So I had a wedding in upstate New York that I had to go to. And this one time out of all the times of me flying, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave later so I can hang out with my family and I'll leave at like 3 or 4 on a flight. Well, I had a flight up to Syracuse and then a flight out to where I was going, and the weather was absolutely horrible. And because of that, my flight was delayed, the flight to Syracuse was canceled, and so I'm sitting at the airport now like 1, 2, 3 hours behind, looking at it like, I don't know if this flight is gonna leave. So I'm texting with my wife like, yo, I don't know what's happening. So what I ended up having to do is she was like, yo, I don't want you falling asleep while you're driving. Let's rent a car and we're gonna drive up there. The drive took 10 hours and we got there at like 1 in the morning or something. So I really only got like 2 hours of sleep before I had to go do the wedding. So luckily, because I was leaving a day early, I was able to do that. But that's my main point on why you need to go ahead and get where you need to go and get there early. Like I have a wedding today in Brooklyn and I got here at like 8 a.m. in the morning. I have a whole day to do nothing, which is why I'm recording this video. But you know, like, but now I know I'm here and nothing can happen. And if something does happen, I'm good to figure it out because I'm here and I'm ready for it. So seriously, every wedding I do this. Every wedding, hands down, get there a day early and as early as you can because you do not want to risk not being able to get to the wedding. And it's also gonna just totally make you look fake and just like not reliable at all. If you're booking couples out of state and then we're like, sorry, my flight got canceled, so I couldn't come. No, if you travel for weddings, you should be ready for this stuff. Being like my flight got canceled should be the absolute last reason. You know, if my flight got canceled, I can still drive. Like if I had something horrible happened, at least I could be like, hey, I was leaving a day early. So it doesn't look like I'm just super flaky and I was like, sorry, the thing didn't happen. So seriously, get to your weddings a day early. I absolutely do this at every single wedding, hands down. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Now, you might be wondering how I'm able to hold down weddings in different states, but the best way I'm able to do that and market to everyone in the United States is with this video sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an online platform to help you build your website. And the great thing about it is it's online, so the whole world is open to you. You can advertise to whoever you want to, and the best way to do that is by having a website. With easy-to-use templates, you're able to set up your website and have it online for the whole world to look at. Just choose the template, put your photos in, and you're good to go. On top of that, you have a lot of other services like commerce, analytics, and a great customer service team behind you to help your website run as well as it can at all times. Make sure to check out the link in the description below for 10% off of your first website or domain. I'm gonna go ahead and start charging my gear now because that's what I do when I'm in my hotel room the day before a wedding. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my stuff charged. Make sure to give this a like if this information was helpful for you, and also let me know any tips you have in the comments below for all the rest of the photographers. All y'all traveling photographers, put some information down there for everyone and let me know what you think of everything that I shared with you today. Thanks for hanging out on the channel again, and I will catch you all next time. All right, peace.